High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello, everyone. It's great to have you with us again on Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm Regan Holgate. We've got your Friday football rundown ready for you once again, including highlights of a big game in the Big Northern Conference between Byron and Rockford Lutheran.
And we're going to have more Big Northern action from North Boone and Winnebago, and a hot one in the NUIC between Forreston and Dakota. And Tim Bailey will be here as we dive into tonight's Nick 10 action.
Plus, I'll spotlight a Freeport football player who has battled his way back after a pretty scary car accident this summer. He's not able to play, but there's no keeping him away from his teammates. We start things off with a Nick 10 matchup that never disappoints no matter what year it is.
When Harlem and Hononegah play each other, it's generally a close game with lots of big plays. Well, these should be two of the top teams in the conference this season. So let's head to Kelsey Field in Rockton for the Gillies Heating and Air Conditioning Game of the Week. Yeah, everybody was amped up for the start of this one. Now, the Hononegah punting early on from near its own end zone, but Gage Cole didn't have time to get it off. Joe Holloway brings him down at the 3-yard line. Hononegah's defense forced Harlem backwards, though, so it was 4th and goal. Harlem from the 22. Derek Anderson put some air under this pass, and Drake Ferguson came down with it for the touchdown. Harlem led 7-0. The rest of the game, though, belonged to the Indians. Eston Fichter pops a big play here up the middle to the Harlem 37. Later that drive on 4th down from the 17, another Hononegah back pops free. It's Luke Poppy for the touchdown, tying the game. Early in the second quarter, Warren is looking for that man Isaiah Huey. Look at the move there. A little hesitation, and then the stiff arm, and Huey dives in for a 30-yard touchdown. Hononegah led 14-7. Coach Zim with a TD call. Still in the second quarter, Warren looks for another receiver. It's Cole Schmall. Beautiful throw, great catch, 21-7. Now, just before halftime, it's Eston Fichter powering in from a yard out. Hononegah led 28-7 at the half. Harlem just could not generate any offense. The pass out to Jamani Muhammad, and the Indians' defense swarmed him. He didn't get a whole lot of yardage tonight. Harlem's best offensive play, a fake punt. Chandler Jack to Tim Wessels. Pretty nice play there by that combo, but nothing came of it because Hononegah's defense was nails. Big Mike Florians gets to Anderson for the sack. What an impressive performance by the Indians. They knock off the Huskies 35-7 to improve to 2-0. We are joined now by our Nick 10 analyst and performance manager at Mercy Health Top Performers, Tim Bailey. Tim, we learned a lot tonight about these two football teams. Just how surprised are you, though, that it was so one-sided tonight?
Well, going into the season with all the hype of how Harlem was going to be this year and how Hononegah was going to be, obviously Hononegah is the real deal. As far as what Harlem didn't do tonight, I'm pretty sure they're disappointed in the outcome. But overall, it was a great game. I'm not really surprised that Hononegah played this well. It was a home game. They had the home crowd behind them. And what they did offensively was a really great display on how really well they are offensively this year.
All right, we always say big games are won in the trenches, right? We heard so much about Harlem's quickness on defense, and it's true, but what did you see on the lines tonight?
Well, again, the game was won in the trenches tonight. What they did at the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively, really showed tonight for Hononegah. The way they pushed, Harlem around, their offensive line around, really getting great pressure on the quarterback for Harlem. What they did offensively, just really giving Warren really great protection, giving the backs gaping holes to run through. You got to give Hononegah's offense and defense a line A grade tonight.
Now, in 2 games, Harlem's offense has scored only 2 touchdowns, and they just could not get Jamani Muhammad going again tonight. So, what would you do to try to help Muhammad out if you were coaching Harlem? And what can they do offensively to jumpstart that offense?
Well, a guy like Jamani is so dynamic when he gets in the open field and he's be able to actually play in space. He's that guy that when you get him in space, everybody in the stands up. And he didn't really get in space too well tonight because they ran him a lot out of the backfield. But if you saw here in the second half, they actually spread him out. He was more so in the passing game where they could really spread him out, throw some screens to him like they did here. He could make one guy miss and then make another guy miss and pick up some positive yards. So that's what they really need to do going forward to really figure out how to get this young man in space. He is a playmaker.
Now, Hononegah's defense has only given up 2 scores through 2 games. Both were set up by breakdowns in their punt team. This might be a bold statement, but is that Hononegah's only weakness right now?
You know, I think, you know, I would have to agree with you. I think that's one of their biggest weaknesses is special teams and what I saw tonight. Offensively, I'll give Hononegah an A grade tonight. Defensively, I'll give them an A grade too. But I would say special teams is an area where they actually, the coaches are going to go back and look at film and they're going to say, we need to improve here, fellas. And I think they're going to answer to the call.
What else impressed you about Hononegah tonight, and can Harlem shake off this loss?
You know what really impressed me about Hononegah tonight, and you know, you got to give this young man credit. Cole Warren stepped up big time, over 200 yards passing, 3 TDs in the air. I think he may have had 1 on the ground. I mean, he's my top performer of the night.
I like the fact, too, that he doesn't try to do too much.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He's a facilitator. He's the quarterback. He was a Fred VanVleet tonight of the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
there you go.
Good point. All right.
And as it relates to Harlem, you know, Harlem don't capitulate. They're not going to capitulate. I think they're going to continue to fight. It's only the second week. Into week 2, there's a lot of football left. They just don't want to be playing like this come October.
Yeah, don't throw in the towel, Harlem.
Nope.
There's a long way to
Nope.
go. Yeah.
Nope. Exactly.
All right, and Tim, you actually launched your Bailey Pod earlier this week
Yes,
with
I
Boylan
did.
QB
Yes, I
Connor
did.
Dennis. The folks can find that on YouTube, and you'll have 2 new ones next week. So look for that,
Yes.
folks, and more knowledge from Tim, of course. All right, thank you, Tim, of course,
Appreciate
for joining
it, guys.
us.
Thank you.
We'll have highlights of all the other Nick 10 games a bit later.
But next, we're going to have some big Northern action and one very interesting game at Lutheran between the Crusaders and the Byron Tigers. You're watching Overtime. Oh, the Rockford Lutheran Crusaders could be a problem for Big Northern Conference teams this season. I mean, the Crusaders, they've come a long way in just over a year under new head coach Jeff Ludke.
Yeah, they have. They ran past Winnebago last Friday night, 56-23. But are the Crusaders ready to go toe-to-toe with the Byron Tigers? Well, they played tonight at Lutheran, but the Tigers kept on their tour of domination. It was 55-0 at the half, so the Byron reserves got their time on the field. That meant some snaps for senior quarterback Carter Grow-Herring. All right, let's get to the action. It's Lutheran ball. The Satyrs looking to go through the air here, but Jacob Leber with the interception. The Tigers going to run that one into Lutheran territory. They aren't able to convert on that, but the following Lutheran drive, a host of Tigers find the quarterback. Honestly, should have been a face mask there, but that ends in a safety. Tigers get the ball back and once again drive it down the field, and Isaac Alvarez barrels his way in. It really doesn't matter who this team has on the field because they seriously cannot be stopped. Byron beats Lutheran a whopping 64-0.
Okay, I'm impressed. I've seen Byron a lot over recent years. That's impressive. Our next stop, Poplar Grove for Genoa Kingston and North Boone. First quarter, Vikings QB Jack Christensen going to Brad Dahl, who gets it. And a nice grab right there. First down. Christensen later on is going to keep it this time. Nice hold there. And he's going to plow forward for a first down. Nice block, 2 ahead of him. Christensen is going to go to work one more time, this time through the air. And it's Chris Dutch in the corner in the end zone. That's 6. Dutch was fired up. I'm sure that felt good. Second quarter, North Boone back with it. Christensen airing it out again to find the big 6'4" target, Brad Dahl. Down the left field line, he breaks it loose. It was a quick 14-0 lead for the Vikes. And final score in this one, North Boone, impressive, 35-6. They win it.
All right, Rockford Christian and Winnebago had rough opening weekends last Friday. They took the field at Bago tonight. Indians here, we're going to get them at the 24-yard line, and it'll be Mitchell Cunningham. He hands off the ball to Brandon Wigan. Wigan finds some space, and he powers down to the 4-yard line. Winnebago knocking on the door here. Cunningham and the Indians. They're going to fake out. Oh, our cameraman's going to get faked out a little bit, but then we see Supreme Muhammad. He's in for the touchdown. Indians next possession at the 2-yard line. Cunningham is going to sneak this one into the end zone for the next score. How about that? Nice one there. Jaden Williams of the Royal Lions will take the next snap, and he tries to find receivers to his left. Almost down, then goes to his right, going through traffic. And the Winnebago Indians, but he gets in for the touchdown. What a play there. Winnebago wins 55-34. Also in the Big Northern Conference, Dixon beat Oregon 29-20. The Forreston Cardinals were one of the big winners last week in the Northwest Upstate Illini Conference. They rallied to defeat a good Fulton team.
Yeah, and the Dakota Indians, they were impressive with their young squad and a 48-12 win over Fisher. We were curious to see what would happen tonight when they went head-to-head at Dakota. Now, the Indians don't pass the ball often, but they're going to do it right here. And it's grabbed out of thin air by Cohen Kirchner, who will now blaze to the end zone, putting the Cardinals up by 3 scores. Late in the fourth, this is an awesome effort by senior QB Nolan Mayberry. He is breaking tackles, slipping defenders, and he's going to get tripped up a little bit here and brought down, but you can see him shake his head. That's because it's wiped away by a holding penalty. Oh, what an effort, though. This time, Mayberry will let his receiver do the work. He dumps it off to the sophomore Benny Gordon, and he'll burn down the sidelines and get out of bounds around the 10. Man, that guy's going to make a lot of big plays the next few years. The Indians would eventually punch it in, but it was too little too late for them. The Cardinals get the win in this one, 18-8.
Also tonight, Lena Winslow took down Fulton 32-8. The Rivermen came out on top over EPC 42-0. And Galena was victorious over West Carroll 49-0. The Blackhawks beat Hayworth 47-13.
In other area games, the Morton Potters won over the Rochelle Hubs 27-26. What a game there. And the DeKalb Barbs defeated the Plainfield South Cougars 20-7. Now don't go away in a bit. We're going to meet a Freeport football player who is tackling adversity head on this season.
Up next, though, it's more Nick 10 action. Could the Guilford Vikings run their record to 2-0 against Auburn?
There's the battle for the Nick 10 championship, and there's something else to motivate teams in Rockford District 205.
That's the battle for bragging rights within the city of Rockford. Auburn and Guilford would like to lay claim to that at the end of the season. Those two teams went at it tonight at Swanson Stadium. Skylar Wolf still not playing quarterback this week. That was a coach's decision, so the job was left to Xavier Lind and Grayson Weber. Let's go to the opening drive here for the Auburn Knights. Patrick DuBose Jr. doing a lot of heavy lifting, but Guilford's James Benson says no, sir. That's a big boy tackle right there. A few snaps later, it's DuBose on the handoff again, and the big man is just cutting up this defense. You don't need to run around them, just run through them. Touchdown Auburn. That one will quiet the Vikings, but only for a moment. The following kickoff finds its way into the hands of Messiah Tilson. He's going to break a tackle right here, and he's got a whole time to turn on the Jets. He's off to the races and into the end zone, folks. Vikings lead 8-6. It's Auburn ball again. Leonard Spates on the lateral. You know, I want to be like him when I grew up. This kid has moves. He's making everyone miss out here. Vikings finally able to get him down right there. That drive will, of course, end in another DuBose touchdown. Great first quarter from the Knights. The Knights able to keep the momentum going. They beat Guilford 26-14. Scott.
I want to be DuBose.
I
want to be DuBose when I grow up. That's
right?
the guy I want to be. Oh, he's my guy. All right, the East Arabs on the road to face a tough Belvedere North squad. North looking good last week at Freeport. That would continue up 21-0 in the second quarter. It's Max Gillenswan going over the middle to Nico Bertolino, and he'll cut upfield and into the end zone. End of that half now. We got to show you this. The Blue Thunder kicker, Alan Perez, going to kick a 47-yard field goal as time expires. That kid, he is something else. What a leg. To the second half now. North back with it. Trent Dinsmore gets the rock and finds a lot of grass in front of them. Brought down, though, just shy of the goal line. So the next play, you got to give it to him, right? This time he pounds his way in for the 6. No doubt about the outcome in this one. Belvedere North cruises over the E-Rabs 51-6.
Our next stop is Pretzel Stadium. Freeport hosted Belvedere. Both teams were looking for their first win. Junior Logan Schwartz was back on the sidelines tonight, always there for his teammates, and you're about to meet him later in the show. Let's check out the Bucks right before the half. Gunnar Vornma heaves it up and finds Tremarion Williams, who makes a nice catch, and it gets taken down at the 1. A few plays later, Vornma lobs it up for Williams one more time. It's tipped, but check it out. That effort from Williams, he corrals it in for the touchdown. Bucks trailed 27-14 at the break. Coach Dedman tried rallying the troops for the second half, and it's going to be pretzel ball now. Let's take a look. And whatever he said seemed to work because Diedrich Macon stepped into high gear and took off all the way to the end zone for 6. Freeport shuts him out in the second half and blows it wide open with the 48-14 win.
For the second straight week, the Boylan Titans were on the road facing a Rockford Public School. Jefferson, the 4th-and-1 situation here. The Jayhawks, Randy Johnson starting at the shotgun, but then moves under center, takes the snap, and keeps the ball, sweeps to the sidelines, and more for a 29-yard gain. So, seen a lot of new stuff out of the Jayhawks this year. At the 15 now, Dante Love hands the ball up to Johnson, and Johnson takes it around the other end for 15 yards and a score for the Jayhawks. Titans defense, though, is just too much for the Jayhawks. Weston Matula creates a nice hold here for the tackle to seal the win. The Titans down the Jayhawks 44-8. Up next, it's our overtime spotlight segment.
I'll bring in the story of one Freeport football player who has refused to let a car accident bring him down or keep him from supporting his teammates. Well, sometimes football becomes so minimal and life is most important. Today, the Freeport family is thankful for the life of Logan Schwartz. What happened to him this summer is proof that some things are just bigger than sports. That's where we shine our spotlight this week on Logan and the ones who keep him going.
No parent wants that phone call.
July 21st, 2023 will be a day the Schwartz family never forgets. It was the day their lives changed forever.
He actually crashed in my coworker's front yard. And she called me and she's like, I just have to tell you, Logan was in an accident.
Freeport left tackle Logan Schwartz was severely injured in a head-on car crash late that July night after taking his girlfriend home.
I don't remember anything after that besides hearing a helicopter and then trying to push myself away from my steering wheel.
It's the worst thing for a parent to know your child's trapped in a vehicle and you can't get to him. Nobody would let me through there.
Logan was airlifted to UW-Madison. He miraculously survived the accident without any significant head or spine injuries. But even as he lay in the trauma unit with a broken wrist, femur, and pelvis, there was only one thing on his mind.
I remember waking up and the first thing that I wanted to do was call my head coach and apologize to him for not being able to play the rest of the season. First thing I did.
And I told him, we just need to get you back healthy. Don't worry about that part of it. Your teammates are going to miss you. I love you, and we'll get healthy and we'll get back to it. But his only thing was football.
You need me. That's what you need.
Logan was initially supposed to be released from the hospital on October 30th, but he had a different timeline in mind. Just 20 days after this horrible accident, Logan was on his way home.
He's very, very driven and determined to be out here with his family, and he doesn't care about anything else.
He even gave up tickets to watch the Packers play in their preseason finale.
I turned him down just for the slightest even chance that I would be able to come see my boys play. These boys are more important than my favorite football team.
That's a welcome to the Nick 10 hit.
And that's where he was, week 1, on the sidelines with his Freeport family, right where he was supposed to be all along.
I'm glad to still be out here, be able to support my boys, just be a part of this family.
Maybe not run it, I'll hobble the rock.
He's been here. He's been with us. He's been involved. You would think he's still playing. He wants to suit up. He wants to put the jersey on, so that's just the spirit he has.
I'm telling you, week 9.
Freeport football is family. That's what you'll see on the back of the Pretzels jerseys this year, along with the number 55 on their helmets in honor of Logan.
We're just your normal, average Freeport family, and everybody has stepped up to be like, no, you're not suffering in our community. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Let's go Freeport!
Seeing the whole city come together, just for me, just for anybody, seeing the whole city come together for something is just, it feels great.
There you go.
Even if I'm never able to play again, I'm going to be on the sideline cheering my boys on regardless.
And in the meantime, everyone else will be cheering for Logan.
Logo strong!
You just love it. It really is amazing how far Logan has come in such a short amount of time, and the Schwartz family gives a lot of credit to the Freeport community for helping them through this hard time.
Yeah, it's almost a miracle that he's already well enough to be even out there with his guys at this point. That's great to see and a great story.
Yeah, it is. We'll be right back. Hey, it's that time where we bring you the best highlight captured on our cameras tonight.
It is the Napleton Auto Group play of the night. Guilford's Messiah Tilson, they say he's the fastest guy on the team, and I believe it. Kickoff return here. Look at the moves here. And a lot of speed, a lot of blocking ahead of him, and he is off to the races. Yep, another great kick returner in the Nick 10, folks. Yeah, and that's our play of the day.
All right, let's look ahead to next week's action. In the Nick 10, Boylan finally gets a home game, and it's a big one. The Titans will host Belvedere North. East will play at Belvedere. Freeport plays at Auburn. Jefferson at Harlem, and Hononegah at Guilford. That should be a good one, too.
Yeah, well, in the Big Northern Conference, it's another big one for Lutheran at Stillman Valley. Rockford Christian will play at Byron. Good luck to the Royal Lions. Rock Falls at Dixon. Oregon at Genoa Kingston. And Winnebago at North Boone.
These will be the games in the NUIC. Dakota at Dupec, Forreston at Galena, EPC at Fulton, Lena Winslow at Stockton, and West Carroll at Aurora Central Catholic.
Some of the 8-man games include Olden Hebron at South Beloit, Orangeville playing at River Ridge, Milledgeville at Polo, AFC at Pawnee, and Danville Schlarman at Hiawatha. Don't be sure to join us every Friday night for Overtime right here on Fox 39 at 11 p.m.
And remember, you can also catch our highlights anytime on our website at mystateline.com. Those will be up shortly after the show is done. All right, that will do it. That's another Friday night in the books, right?
Yeah, that's it. Have a great night, everybody. I know the Hononegah Indians are going to have a great night and a great weekend. You at home, you enjoy your weekend too. The extended Labor Day weekend. We'll catch you next week.